Hello everyone, Sangeeta here. Today's topic for discussion is chemistry and classification of amino acids. Amino acids are the structural units of proteins, and proteins are the polymers of L-alpha amino acids linked by a peptide bonds. And we know proteins are molecular instruments through which the genetic information is expressed. So if we are considering the molecular biology, through DNA replication, transcription and translation, proteins are being generated. And these proteins are a complex organic substance made up of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and nitrogen. The word proteose or proteins came from a Greek word proteos, which means primary or holding first place. Now regarding the elemental composition of proteins, around 50 to 55% of proteins are made up of carbon, then comes to oxygen which is 19 to 24%, then nitrogen 13 to 19%, then hydrogen 6 to 7.3% and sulfur 0 to 4%. So the elemental nitrogen content is usually by 16% of the protein total weight. Now the dynamic functions of proteins or dynamic functions of amino acids. So being the structural component of proteins, we can even say it as a functions of amino acids or proteins. Proteins are the structural components of cytoskeleton. Cell membrane consists of proteins like membrane protein, integral protein, etc. So they are the structural components. Then enzymes are proteins. We know all enzymes are proteins. They are the biochemical catalyst. Then most of the hormones are also proteins. For example, insulin, follicular stimulating hormone, that is FSH, then LH, luteinizing hormone. Then another function, these are involved in the transport of various substances, like the best example, hemoglobin, which transport oxygen in blood, and myoglobin, which help for the transport of oxygen in muscles. And another example given, transferrin, which help for the transport of iron in plasma. There are so many other plasma protein which help for the transport of various substances in blood. Then certain proteins can help for the contraction of muscle. The best example, myosin and actin. Another function, some proteins involved in defense mechanism, that is immunity. The best example, the gamma globulins, one of the plasma protein which is also known as immunoglobulin, which can be helpful to defense against the bacterial infection or anything which is foreign to body. This immunoglobulin will be getting involved in the immunity reaction, antibody mediated immunity. Then interferons are the another proteins which help to neutralize the viral load. Then coming to the next function, coagulation factors like factors prothrombin, the best example for the protein as the coagulation factor. Then it can even involved as the best buffer in intracellular medium, intracellular buffer in maintaining the acid-base balance because of the presence of histidine, the amino acid histidine, which is mainly involving in the acid-base balance. Then proteins can even act as the receptors. Then storage protein, the example given, ferritin. Then they can even act as the respiratory pigments, best example, cytochromes, hemoglobin and myoglobin. And the albumin, which consists of almost all the essential amino acid, can mainly involving in to maintain the osmotic balance in the fluids. So it helps to maintain the osmotic pressure. So there are so many other functions also. So you can consider these are the major functions of proteins or amino acids. Okay, let us focus in detail regarding the amino acids. amino acids? The definition is amino acids are organic compounds which are the basic structural units of proteins. I told these are the basic structural unit. The proteins are made up of linear molecules of amino acid linked together by peptide bond. So more than 300 amino acids are there in nature, but only 20 are coded by the DNA to appear in proteins. So once again the definition, these are organic compounds which are the basic structural units of proteins. So we know regarding the genetic code. So genetic code means these nucleotides, purine and pyrimidine nucleotides, the triplets codons are representing for a particular amino acid during transcription translation or reaction. So here the example U, that is uridine trinucleotide, trinucleotide, which will be responsible for the synthesis of phenylalanine during transcription and translation. Similarly, CCU, CCC, CCA, etc. for proline, so and so. Okay, so that is why I told basic only 20 amino acids have been mainly involving for the protein synthesis. Now, coming to the basic nature or basic structure of an amino acid. So you can see a central carbon atom. This is represented as an alpha carbon to which 4 different groups are usually attached. You can see hydrogen atom, a carboxylic group, an amino group along with R. R is a side chain which is distinctive for each amino acid. It can be varied in different amino acid. So alpha carbon is between the carboxyl group and the amino group to which 4 different groups usually attached. Okay, so this is regarding the basic structure. Once again, a central carbon atom, a basic amino group, an acidic carboxylic group, a hydrogen atom and a side chain. These which simply representing the abbreviations of amino acids. Here you can see that you can just read alanine, which is represented by a 3-letter abbreviation ALA, then 1-letter abbreviation A, then aspartic acid ASP, ASP, then D. I think this is no need to by heart these things, but you should know the short form, 3-letter abbreviation of all the 20 amino acids. Amino acids, let us discuss in detail about the classification of amino acid. Before that, you should understand the properties of each amino acids are dependent on its side chain. Properties will be discussing in another class. The side chains are the functional groups which determine the structure and functions of protein. Okay, in previous figure, I told to the alpha carbon atom 4 different groups are attached. HNH2, then carboxyl group, one R was represented. R means side chains because of the different nature of the side chain or the functional group which determine the structure and functions of protein. Keep it in mind. Okay, let us go in detail regarding the classification of amino acids. Classification based on structure, classification based on side chain, classification based on metabolic fate and nutritional classification. This is regarding the broad classification of amino acid. Once again, based on structure, side chain, metabolic fate and nutritional classification. These 4 again will be subdivided into many. Let's see one by one. The first classification based on structure. That itself divided into aliphatic, then aromatic, so and so. Okay, amino, etc., derived amino acid, etc. Okay, so classification based on structure. Under that, first classification, aliphatic amino acid. Aliphatic amino acid again divided into monoamino monocarboxylic acid. What is the meaning? Monoamino, a single amino group, a single carboxylic group. Example, simple amino acids are usually glycine, then alanine. Then branch chain amino acid. Branch chain means the R side chain may be a branch side chain. That is branch chain amino acid, valine, leucine, isoleucine. Then hydroxy amino acid means in side group it consists of a hydroxyl group. Example, serine and threonine. Then sulfur containing amino acid, It consists of a sulfur group in its structure. Cysteine, cysteine and methionine. These are the sulfur containing amino acid. Then amino acids with amide group. Example, asparagine and glutamine. So this is regarding the classification based on structure, aliphatic amino acid. Okay. So here gives the structural representation of aliphatic amino acid, aliphatic side chains. That is glycine, alanine. Glycine, alanine are known as the simplest amino acid. You can see R is simply a hydrogen group in glycine. R is a methyl group in alanine. Okay. So here glycine, you can see that the central carbon atom, it does not have 4 different group. It is 2H, 1NH3 and COO. That is why glycine is optically inactive. To become the optically active substance, the alpha carbon atom should have 4 different group attached to the central carbon atom. That is known as asymmetry. Okay, glycine does not have asymmetrical carbon atom. That is why which is optically inactive. Then alanine is methyl group. Then valine, leucine, isoleucine, what I told, these are the branch chain amino acid. You can see side chain R is a branching point. CH3, CH, CH3. This is consists of a branch side chain. That is why these are known as branch chain amino acid, valine, leucine, isoleucine. These two are the sulfur containing amino acid. This is cysteine. This is methionine. From cysteine, cysteine can be synthesized, and thioether linkage, that is representing the methionine. These two are the hydroxyl group containing amino acid, that is serine and threonine. Both consist of a hydroxyl group in its side chain. So these are known as hydroxy group containing amino acid. Example, serine and threonine. Amino acids with amide group. You can see this is the basic structure of amino acid with the carboxyl group and amino group, and C double bond O NH group, that is the amide linkage, which is additionally present in this structure. That is why they are known as amino acids with amide group. Example, asparagine and glutamine. So far we have seen the aliphatic amino acid. Now again the classification based on structure. The second part, monoamino dicarboxylic acid, in which monoamino, what does meaning? One amino group and 2 carboxylic group. Aspartic acid and glutamic acids are the examples for the monoamino dicarboxylic acid. These are usually negatively charged R groups, because you can see the side chain consists of an additional carboxyl group, make it a negatively charged R group. Aspartic acid, you can see 2 carboxyl group. That is why monoamino dicarboxylic acid. Here also glutamic acid, monoamino dicarboxylic acid. The side chain consists of negatively charged group. That is why it is negatively charged. It consists of negatively charged R groups. Then dibasic monocarboxylic acid. What is the meaning? Dibasic monocarboxylic consists of 2 amino group in its structure and a single carboxylic group. Okay, so in both this structure, lysine and arginine, you can see only 1 amino group in its structure. Sorry, there are 2 amino group in its structure and only 1 carboxylic group. Okay, so because of the presence of positively charged side chain, they are having positively charged R groups. Okay, so monocarboxylic acid, monoamino dicarboxylic acid are negatively charged. Dibasic monocarboxylic acid are positively charged R groups. Now classification, again the continuation, aliphatic over, then monobasic. Under that we have seen so many, that is monobasic, monoamino monocarboxylic, then branch chain, sulfur containing, hydroxyl group containing, amide group containing, etc. The second classification under that was dibasic monocarboxylic acid. Now third, aromatic amino acid. Aromatic amino acids are consist of a benzene ring in structure. So example, phenylalanine and tyrosine. we can say the structural difference between phenylalanine and tyrosine is only an additional hydroxyl group in tyrosine structure. So these two are truly aromatic amino acid consist of benzene ring its structure. Then heterocyclic amino acids means it consists of an additional heterocyclic, in addition to benzene, an additional group is consist of, that is known as heterocyclic ring. You can see heterocyclic ring. So that is example tryptophan and histidine. Histidine consists of a heterocyclic ring and tryptophan also consists of a heterocyclic ring in addition to the benzene ring. So these are known as heterocyclic amino acids. Then classification based on structure. Structure, again, so far we were discussing that only. So now again it is subdivided into amino acid. Amino acid nothing, instead of NH2 group, that is amino group, an NH group is present in the structure. That is known as amino acids. The best example for amino group is proline. One more question can be asked. Which amino acid does not have an amino group and consists of an amino group? That is example proline. Then derived amino acid. Derived amino acids are actually the amino acid which is seen in proteins and non-protein. They are not truly amino acid, but they are derived from the basic amino acid. So from proline, hydroxylation leads to the formation of hydroxyproline, then lysine, hydroxylysine, then gamma carboxyglutamic acid. Glutamic acid undergoing gamma carboxylation, which gives the derivative as gamma carboxyglutamic acids. Okay, so these are the derived proteins seen in proteins. We have already learned the proline and lysine are involved in the collagen formation along with the presence of vitamin C. Gamma carboxyglutamic acids are responsible for the gamma carboxylation of glutamic acid residues in factors 2, 7, 9, 10, etc. In the vitamin chapter we have understand the importance of this GCG. The vitamin K is responsible for the gamma carboxylation of factor 2, 7, 9, 10, etc. Then the protein which are not seen in proteins, derived amino acid which are not seen in proteins, example ornithine, citrulline, homocysteine, etc. Ornithine, citrulline, etc. are the intermediate of urea cycle, then homocysteine intermediate of sulfur containing amino acid metabolism. Now the second classification based on side chain. So far what all we have discussed is based on the structure. Now classification based on the side chain. Okay, so under that first classification, amino acid with the charged polar side chain. So while studying the structure itself, we have seen the side group, if it consists of a negative charge or positive charge, they are known as negatively charged or positively charged amino acid with R group. Okay, so aspartic acid and glutamic acid are dicarboxylic monobasic amino acid. So the predominant charge here it is negatively charged, or the side group consists of a negatively charged group. That is why they are known as negatively charged R groups. Whereas dibasic monocarboxylic acid consists of, here the positive charge is predominant and side chains consist of a positive charge group. That is why they are positively charged R groups. Example lysine, arginine and histidine. Now amino acid with uncharged polar side chain. These amino acids have zero net charge at isoelectric pH. They are usually hydrophilic in nature. That means water, they are having an attraction towards the water, hydrophilic in nature, because these amino acids have zero net charge at isoelectric pH, because here the R group is an uncharged polar side chain. Example serine, threonine, where these are the hydroxyl group containing amino acid, then cysteine, sulfur group containing amino acid, and asparagine and glutamine. So here the side group does not have any charge. They are uncharged polar. They are uncharged but they are polar. That is hydrophilic in nature. So example serine, threonine, cysteine, asparagine and glutamine. Amide group containing amino acids are asparagine and glutamine. Now amino acids with non-polar side chains. It does not gain or lose protons or participate in hydrogen or ionic bonds. Okay, here It is non-polar. It consists of a non-polar side chains, usually oily or lipid-like property that promotes hydrophobic interactions. Location in protein in aqueous solution, it creates a polar environment. The side chain of the non-polar amino acid tends to cluster together in the interior of the protein. So here, which representing here, you can see soluble protein and membrane protein. So in membrane protein, usually the non-polar amino acid cluster on the surface of the membrane protein, whereas in soluble protein, non-polar amino acid cluster in the interior of the soluble protein, because they are non-polar in nature or hydrophobic in nature. That is why they are clustered inside in soluble protein. In membrane protein, the property is needed for the permeability. That is why they are present on the surface of the membrane protein, because the hydrophobic nature or non-polar amino acid should be present on the membrane outer surface. Okay, so the example for non-polar aliphatic R group, glycine, alanine, then proline and valine, etc. Okay, so these are the best example of non-polar aliphatic R group. Then classification based on metabolic fate. Metabolic fate, what does it mean? Here, the amino acid after the metabolism or after the catabolism in the human body, what happens to the carbon skeleton of the amino acid? That explains the classification based on the metabolic fate. If the carbon skeleton enters into the synthesis of glucose through gluconeogenesis, they are known as purely glucogenic. If it enters for the synthesis of ketone body, they are known as purely ketogenic. Or the carbon skeleton may enter for both the synthesis of glucose and the ketone body. They are known as both ketogenic and glucogenic. So you should remember only one amino acids are purely ketogenic, that is leucine. One mark again, purely ketogenic amino acid leucine. Then let us focus on the both ketogenic and glucogenic, phenylalanine and tyrosine, tryptophan. These three are the aromatic amino acid, phenylalanine, tyrosine and tryptophan. Then lysine and isoleucine. Isoleucine are branch chain amino acid. So aromatic and branch chain are both ketogenic and glucogenic. So 2 plus 3, 5 plus 1, 6. Remaining 14 amino acids are actually purely glucogenic. These amino acids will enter into glucose synthesis through gluconeogenesis after the metabolism. So example, glycine, alanine, valine, serine, threonine, cysteine, cysteine, methionine, aspartic acid, glutamic acid, arginine, histidine, etc. So while studying the amino acid, you should be thorough with the names of 20 classic amino acid. Then you should know the purely ketogenic and both ketogenic and glucogenic. So the remaining 14 you can write it as purely glucogenic amino acids. Now the next classification, nutritional classification. Nutritional classification means there are three types: essential, non-essential and semi-essential amino acid. Whether we need these amino acids through the supplementation or through the diet, that determines the essentiality. Okay, so the first one, essential amino acid. Amino acid which cannot be synthesized by the body and have to be necessarily supplied in the diet to promote the optimum growth. That is the meaning of essential amino acid. Example, phenylalanine, valine, threonine, tryptophan, isoleucine, methionine, leucine and lysine. So here gives the mnemonym to understand these amino acids, because while writing the nutritional classification you must write the example thoroughly. So here P for phenylalanine, V for valine, T for threonine, private. P, you can remember it as private, PVT. TIM, threonine, then tryptophan, isoleucine and methionine, TIM. Then LL is for leucine and lysine. HA you should not remember because histidine and arginine are semi-essential amino acid. But to memorize you can write private TIM whole, or another one TV till 4 p.m. These also same thing. This threonine, then valine, then tryptophan, isoleucine, lysine, leucine, then phenylalanine and methionine. Either way you can just memorize these essential amino acids. Now semi-essential, I told it is histidine and arginine because it is required only for the growing children. Okay, for an adult it no need to supply. Then non-essential amino acid, these amino acids can be synthesized by the body. These are known as non-essential. So when the essential amino acid, if you are getting it through the diet, these amino acid can be synthesized by the body with the through the transamination reaction. So example, glycine, alanine, serine, cysteine, aspartic acid, glutamic acid, asparagine, glutamine, tyrosine, proline, etc. Okay. These are the 20 standard amino acids given. Just to have a revision only, you can go through. Then special group present in amino acids. Arginine, the special group is guanidinium. Phenylalanine, it is benzene ring. Tyrosine, it is phenol ring. Tryptophan, it is indole ring. Histidine, imidazole ring. Proline, it is pyrrolidine ring. So just remember the special group in the various amino acids. Now non-alpha amino acids. Non-alpha means the amino group and carboxyl group is attached to not to the alpha carbon atom. It is attached to a different carbon atom, either it is beta, gamma, delta, etc. So beta alanine example, in which the amino and carboxyl group will be attached to the beta carbon atom. Example, pantothenic acid and coenzyme A. Then beta amino isobutyric acid, which is the end product of pyrimidine metabolism. Then GABA, that is gamma aminobutyric acid. It is a neurotransmitter which is a decarboxylation product of glutamic acid. Then ALA, that is delta aminolevulinic acid, in which amino and carboxyl group is attached to delta carbon atom, which is a precursor for heme synthesis. Then taurine, it is a conjugate. It can be conjugated with the helping for the conjugation of bile acids. Now derived amino acids seen in protein, which I have already discussed, 4-hydroxyproline and 4-hydroxylysine. They are the collagen component. Gamma carboxyglutamic acid found in prothrombin, a blood clotting factor. Then desmosine, another derived amino acid seen in protein, derived from lysine and found in fibrous protein elastin. Then selenocysteine contains selenium present in few proteins. That is the newest amino acid after 20th amino acid. These are the biologically important compounds derived from amino acid. Tyrosine. Biologically important compound from tyrosine is adrenaline, thyroxine, that is thyroid hormone. Then a pigment melanin, etc. Then from tryptophan, niacin, a vitamin niacin can be synthesized. From glycine, arginine and methionine, creatine can be synthesized, which is present in muscle protein. Then glycine and cysteine can be responsible for the synthesis of bile salts, responsible for the absorption and digestion of fat mainly. From glycine, heme can be synthesized. Aspartic acid and glutamic acid can be part of the structure of pyrimidine bases. Glycine, aspartic acid and glutamine can be part of purine bases. Beta alanine can be part of coenzyme A. Now these are the newest amino acid, selenocysteine and pyrrolysine. Remember, 21st amino acid is selenocysteine, 22nd amino acid is pyrrolysine. Selenocysteine means it consists of a selenium group in its structure, seen at the active site of enzymes like thioredoxin reductase, glutathione peroxidase, 5' deiodinase, etc. So usually it is acting as a stop codon, UGA. This stop codon is responsible for the synthesis of selenocysteine. This is the structure of selenocysteine, and additional selenium is present in the cysteine group. This is pyrrolysine, 22nd amino acid. It is synthesized by combination of lysine plus pyrroline 5-carboxylate. This is structure of pyrrolysine seen in methyl transferase enzymes of bacteria. The stop codon UAG is representing pyrrolysine. Okay, so this is all about amino acids, chemistry and classification. So classification can be asked as a short note based on various things, based on the structure, based on the side chain, based on the nutritional essentiality, based on the metabolic fate, etc. Or individually also can be asked. So please be study. I'll be giving you some assignments based on the classification and chemistry of amino acids. Thank you all.